Christ's abiding love for mankind is expressed not only in the Eucharist, but also through many devotions, among them, in a special way, the devotion to the Sacred Heart. Although now observed around the world, especially throughout the month of June, this devotion was born in the small French town of Paray-le-Monial. There, Jesus first revealed his Sacred Heart to the Visitation nun, St. Margaret Mary Alacoque, in 3 different apparitions.
La première a lieu.
The first takes place on December 27th, 1673. The Lord shows her his heart, and she rests for a long time upon the heart of Jesus. Then the Lord takes her heart, immerses it in his own, and gives her a new heart, one that is burning, aflame. In 1674, the Lord appears to her again, not with a bleeding heart, but with a burning heart. And in place of the 5 wounds, there are 5 suns. The source of this fire is the furnace of the heart. The Lord once again declares his love and complains of ingratitude and indifference.
Des ingratitudes et des indifférences.
In the chapel of the sanctuary's basilica, where the apparitions took place and where St. Margaret Mary is buried, the Lord asked her to receive Holy Communion frequently, especially on the first Friday of each month. He also asked her to spend a holy hour of reparation on Thursday nights from 11 p.m. to midnight, to meditate on his agony in Gethsemane and keep him company in his sorrow. The third apparition, however, is the most well-known.
The third principal apparition takes place in June 1675. The Lord appears to her again before the Blessed Sacrament and says, "Behold his heart, which has so loved men." He then asks her, as an act of reparation and love, to establish a feast in honor of his Sacred Heart in the Catholic Church.
St. Margaret Mary Alacoque was not initially believed when she spoke of her visions. It was only with the help of St. Claude La Colombière, a Jesuit priest serving the local community, who became the convent's confessor and St. Margaret Mary's spiritual director, that the devotion gradually gained acceptance and began to spread.
He came in contact with her and very quickly, believed the authenticity of these and became her tireless defender and promoter. Not long, even after he left, at some later point after the initial apparitions, Margaret Mary saw another vision in which Jesus appeared to her, and she also saw St. Claude La Colombière next to Jesus, and in point of fact was told that he would be the person, and that through him the Society of Jesus would become the organization to diffuse and spread this devotion.
With the help of bishops and lay associations, many Jesuits worked tirelessly to extend the reign of Christ's heart by establishing confraternities dedicated to the Sacred Heart. Gradually, especially after the approval and institution of the Feast of the Sacred Heart by Pius IX in 1856, churches and altars were constructed across the world in honor of the Sacred Heart, including Rome, where its first international shrine was built.
È stato il primo tempio eretto a Roma.
With this devotion, the first church to the Sacred Heart of Jesus in Rome was built with the intention that, from here, the center of Christianity, this devotion could be spread throughout the whole world.
Anche essere proprio propagata questa devozione a tutto il mondo.
After the death of Pope Pius IX, Pope Leo XIII quickly took over the project to finish the construction of the basilica and continued to promote the devotion throughout his papacy. He elevated the Feast of the Sacred Heart to a solemnity, approved its litany, and in 1899, in a historic act, he consecrated the entire Church and humanity to the Sacred Heart.
He explained why he wanted to consecrate the world to the Sacred Heart. But he said basically, what is consecration? He says it's just the offering and the binding of oneself to Christ, and in that kind of simple way. But he says, that like all of our acts, that when we offer and we bind ourselves to Christ, we in a certain sense give God permission to act more powerfully in our lives. And when we do it in a public way where it's coordinated, not just individual people's binding and offering, we give God permission to act more powerfully.
In many ways, the power of devotion is reflected in the promises Jesus made to those devoted to His Sacred Heart, including the gift of peace in their homes, strength in life's trials, and comfort in sorrow. Above all, He promised the grace of final perseverance to those who receive Holy Communion on the first Fridays in 9 consecutive months. While devotion to the Sacred Heart continues to be lived throughout the world, Paray Lemonial remains a unique place for pilgrims seeking to encounter God's love.
Ici, à Paray-le-Monial, on éprouve que le Seigneur
Here,
nous aime.
in Paray-le-Monial, we experience that the Lord loves us. We encounter this merciful love, especially in Eucharistic adoration and in the sacrament of confession. Another experience we live here is having our hearts transformed, perhaps not in the mystical way that St. Margaret Mary experienced, but for each of us, the Lord takes our heart of stone, immerses it in His heart, and gives us a new one.